John, I just sent you an email with the making of things. I don't know if you can open it in your phone and you can make it work, that we can see it now.
Maybe we could edit it afterwards.
Okay.
So we put the images and you talking about that specific scene.
Yeah, sure.
And did you have any visual inspirations for Ares? Did you have an image in mind how you wanted the series to look like, this dark, this grimy look?
Well, we didn't want it to look American. We wanted it to have this European flavor. So Stephan and I, of course, there's the obvious reference of Eyes Wide Shut in terms of art direction and stuff, and the rituals. Because we thought, if young kids are watching this, how many young kids know of Stanley Kubrick, and how many young kids know of Eyes Wide Shut? If we can be the series that they can discover that movie, great. I'm not ashamed of that reference, you know.
Yeah.
But the thing that we really liked is just the work of, for example, David Fincher. That, for example, in Social Network, and we thought, let's just embrace the whole naturalistic low light look that normal life also has, but make it in a very stylized, like steady way. We don't go handheld. We just want to emphasize the power of Ares, the power of tradition, and the power of manipulation, and that's what got into all the shots and all the colors and all the whole vibe.
Nice.
Yeah, so like in the beginning, we also like made a mood board. So I made a mood board, and also the other DOP from episodes 5 till 8, like Joris Kerbels, he also made this mood board. Then we also had meetings together with the four of us. So we were watching movies, we were watching examples, we were watching at painters, at photographers, because we had to come in one line. Because like, yes, we had days that we were shooting or they were shooting, but it had to get like one overall look. And of course, the lighting guy, the gripper guy, the camera assistant, they were all shooting days on set, but Giancarlo and me only were half of the days on set. So we had to make sure that the visual look would be exactly the same. And so in the beginning, we also, like, Giancarlo and Michiel made like kind of a treatment, and they already had like a lot of example images. And I think like from that kind of treatment, Joris and I started to create our own mood boards. We connected the mood boards, and I think that's how we arranged the general look of the series. And then we also like had a lot of meetings with the lighting guy and to chat about how we would lit up scenes, and to arrange it. So for example, the bedroom from Rosa, that's like a really nice example, because if you would see it in real life, it looks like a perfect wedding location. And we changed everything, and we decided like, okay, Ares is like a close communion, and there are not going to be windows with a beautiful view over Amsterdam. And it had like a lot of reasons, because for the story it would be better that it would be really close. Like you enter the building and you're inside, you're like kind of kidnapped. And that's why we decided, okay, we're going to make this brick wall inside the window. So she opens the curtains and there's a brick wall. And those kind of things we were also thinking of, okay, so it's going to be really dark, but you're just going to see enough. And then, for example, like sometimes we have like lightning dots around the room, and they are just giving a small sparkler, but they are not going to tell a lot. But they can be anywhere, and it's not defined where it's coming from, but it's just like it's going to give you a small touch and a feeling of the atmosphere where she is like kind of like connected to, as if it's like some sector or like gathering, and we had to find a translation for it. So, and that's it. I think it's funny because like recently I was scrolling to the mood board again and think like, okay, it's really what we thought of. That's what I can see in the results. So in that kind of way, I think it like we did a great job to make it work and to follow the mood board that we spoke about.
Yeah, you for sure you can see. I mean, it has its own, its own colors, its own peculiar look, like you said, low light and dark, and like it's really. I mean, it's a horror thing. That's the series. It's a horror series, and you know it when you just see either shot you see. You know you're in a horror series.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, yeah, the next question is for you, Stephan. Throughout your whole career, have you had a go-to camera brand or a special camera that you always use or prefer to use?
I think it's changing for each project, and I think it also has to do like I am a person that thinks from the story, so the story is the most important, and if you know the story, you can make decisions. Okay, what kind of camera do you need for this project? And of course, like 9 out of 10 times, it's going to be like a ARRI. It's going to be ARRI Alexa. It can be a mini or the new large format. I think that's something that you see a lot, and you can use it for a lot of different kind of projects. But it's always a question if it's the best camera for the project or not. So also, for example, for Iris, we had like the rule, okay, it's for Netflix, you need to shoot fully 4K. And at the moment, while we were starting to shoot, there was no Alexa a large format mini. There was only like the big one. And then we had a lot of discussions, we had a lot of tests, like, okay, are we going to shoot on the Sony Venice? Are we going to shoot on the Red Epic? Or are we going to shoot on the large format? And in the end, we choose for the large format ARRI. But like to come back to the question, like for me, I also really love to shoot on film. Like I love to shoot on 60 millimeter. Right. I love to shoot on 35 millimeter. If I could choose, yes, I would always shoot on film, because for me, it's like it's giving a really special touch to the image, and it gives you also the imperfections that I really love. And I think it's like look at Rembrandt or Van Gogh or any other painters. Sometimes there's like something wrong in the image, but that makes it like, for me, it makes it perfect that it's imperfect. So maybe it's strange to tell, but like, of course, you have all the digital cameras and they become better, and 4K and 6K and 8K, and they go on and on and on. But for me, it's really like it has to have a structure, and you need to feel it. And it's something that you nowadays also can do more and more in grading, so you can arrange a lot of things. But for me, I love to shoot on film, because that gives you like so much extras that you could never think of. But I can also understand that if you shoot a really dark movie, only exterior nights, that it's not the best decision to shoot on film. Then you would easily choose, for example, okay, let's shoot on the Sony Venice, because the native ISO can be like 2500. So then you get way more back from the whole cityscape skyline than when you would shoot on 500 ISO.
Right. And how difficult is to convince a producer to shoot on film?
It's depending. I think it's also depending on your director, because your director also needs to love it and he needs to confirm it, because then you are with the two of them, and then you also have to make decisions, because most of the times you get a decision like, okay, it's possible to shoot on film, but you don't get Steadicam, you don't get this, you don't get that. So you have to make a decision for your story, how you're going to divide the money. And in that kind of way, there are some producers that never worked with film. They are afraid of it. But there are also a lot of producers that really love it. But it's like, yeah, you have to discuss like with a lot of people to see what's the best. And I think when film is the best for the story, then everybody's going to agree and everybody's like going to accept it. And it's not even only movies, but it's also, for example, for commercials. Like, I think it's really cool to see the last 2-3 years that a lot of people are again started to shoot on film. And I think that's really amazing that it's like an artist. Like, sometimes you want to do something with a marker, sometimes you want to do it with a pencil, sometimes you want to do it maybe with papers and scissors, and like, you have so many different materials to create an image. And I think that's very important to keep it all there. Like, if nobody would shoot on film anymore, then of course they will not develop it anymore, and it will be dismissed, and it's going to be gone. And then it's really hard to find the people that can still develop it and can arrange it. So if it would stop now, it's not sure that it can come back in 5 years, because all the technicians, all the really old cultural people that know how to work with, they are like going to be gone. And so I think it's really important to keep everything inside and to also like make the decision on the project, because I can also understand if you have different kind of movie with security cameras, like, why not shoot on like the new GoPros and hang them in all the corners, for example?
Right.
Maybe that's the best decision. So in that kind of way, if you ask me a brand, then I would go for ARRI, because it has like the Alexa Mini, but it also has the ARRI 416 or the 435 Extreme. So yes, I think that's my main answer. And if you ask me for lenses, that's even harder to say, because it's like really...
That was the next question, actually.
Yeah, it's like really a question. Like, I really love that you have a big palette of different lenses, and it can be anamorphic, it can be spherical, it can be really crispy and clean, but it also can be like really dodgy and dirty and with a lot of imperfections, or with great flares. And I think it's great to have like a really big arsenal of lenses and cameras that you can choose and you can pick, and you can decide which item is the best for your story and is going to translate the script the best into images.
So you don't stick to one lens in particular?
No, I don't think so, because for me it's really like, I like to change, and I think, for example, you can say, for example, Carl Zeiss Super Speeds, they are great lenses because you can use them for a lot of different sceneries. But for example, I also really love like Kowa spherical lenses, because they have like a great golden image. They have great flares. But yeah, I also really like master primes, because you can go till 1.3 and you don't have any distortion, and you will put some filters in front to make it less digital, and it's still going to be a really nice image. So I really like to experiment with different lenses and different filters, and to create like the best image.
Right. And how do you usually light your scenes? Do you use a lot of practical lightnings or natural lighting, or how do you approach this?
It's depending on what kind of movie, scene, commercial you're making, because sometimes it has to be super bright or sunny, or it has to be really dark. So if I will talk about, for example, Iris, then I'm going to say like, okay, we always thought like from the practicals, because the practicals, they are the main light points in the framing, so you see them, and we had like lights outside of the framing that were like giving a little bit more light, because the practicals were not giving enough light to light the whole scene. And that kind of way, I always really loved natural light, but even when it's, for example, a really dark day and you're going to make it sunny, I still like it that it feels natural. I'm not a person that's like, for example, if you see comedy movies, there's like so much light from all the windows that you can see, and you're going to have a super bright actor or actress. But that's not my kind of way of lighting, because that's not my preference. Like, I really like to think from, you're in a room, there's a window, okay, if the sun would come through this window, how would that be? And that's something that you're going to generate yourself, and then you can choose different lights and different filters, like different colors. But I really like to think out of the room where you are, like you're on the location, and then you start to think like, okay, what would be a nice scene? How would it, the light would be perfectly in here? And sometimes it's with a mirror just to catch the sun and to bounce it into, and sometimes it's a big light. Or like, I always prefer to have all the lights outside of the set, not inside, because then you can also give freedom to your actors, to your director, because otherwise you have to tell your director, okay, the actor can only stand here and he can stand there, and he's not allowed to cross this line. And then that's horrible. That's you don't want to do this with your director or your actors. You want to give them a free space. And I think I also read an article recently about the Joker, and then they also have like a really nice way of thinking, and they said they always went to a location and they lit the whole location, and then they took the actors in and they let everything happen. And that's also a different kind of way. But then, of course, if you see the movie, for me it looks really beautiful and really nice lit. And I think it's also really cool that sometimes the actor is in a dark spot and there's not enough light, but you hear him, you feel him, and maybe it's even like way more suspense, and you're way more with the person than when it would be exactly in the sun bounce that's coming from outside.
Yeah, that's great. And do you, when you see these, for example, from the Joker and other behind the scenes, do you usually implement these new ideas or techniques you see?
Yes and no, because the budgets from those kind of movies are so big that you can never achieve this. But yes, it gives me ideas, and I always really like to, for example, share some ideas with your lighting guy, with your gaffer, and then you make a plan, and then you are going to translate, for example, 5 images towards the set or the location where you are working on that day. And I think that's really nice, because if you have some examples, you know you are going to be on the same line, and then it's easier to talk about which light do you want to use on which location. And I think that's very important, to be on one line and to see how you can implement it. And I don't like to copycat one-on-one. But like sometimes if you start doing it and then something happens and it's like, wow, this is amazing, or you lit up a whole nice set, and then the sun just peeks into a small window, and then you have this small line and it's like dancing trees, for example, like a pattern on the wall, and then think, okay, that's amazing, that's something that I want to keep. And then sometimes the lights say, yeah, but it's not continuous. But then you ask the director, okay, how long is the scene going to be? How long do we need the shot? Not so long. Okay, let's use the natural light, because you cannot build it yourself with the lights you have at that moment.
Nice.
That's
that's great insight. Yeah.
Yeah, Stephan is a smart person.
No, I'm not. If you think of Da Vinci, then what am I?
And could you do this did you do this in Ares, like use just natural lighting, or you didn't have the chance to?
We had some locations that we decided with the art director, for example, to have like the vitrage, like the curtains that are shiny through. And then we said, okay, let's put them all on all the windows, because we don't want to really look outside, but we want to have like the soft daylight coming in. And then we just made on one wall that's out of the framing, we made it all black to still have like a little bit of shaping, to have like a negative side and a lit side. So Yeah, in that kind of way, yes, I think we accomplished that. And then also, for example, we had the brick wall in the room, and there was a really small hole, and then we made like very big lights coming through it to have small dots or small light patterns that you could not guess where it would come from. You don't have any explanation, but I really like to like a painter, just giving some final touches somewhere. I think that's great to do. But sometimes it's tough because you don't have enough time to achieve that point. So the more you can do in the pre-production, the more important, because you don't have time to play at the moment itself, because you have to go. The train is running, and you cannot jump off to pick something and jump back on, because it will continue without you. So that's
exactly
a fight that you have sometimes.
Not being able
Rodrigo,
to
you take
improvise.
the next question.
The next question. Well, how has the pandemic reopening process for filmmaking project has been to you both? Were you able to are you able to keep on working on your current projects, or how is it?
Well, I think shooting wise, everything is on hold. So everything is pre-production now, or writing actually. So I've been shooting a lot the past couple of years, and now I wanted to after Aries, I wanted to take a break and read a lot and write my own stuff. And then came the pandemic, so it was kind of planned, but it's really tough. It's really tough that we cannot shoot now, because we here in the Netherlands, they're trying to convince the politicians that it's important job of actors to be in theater or to make the content for TV and stuff. So that's a discussion that's being going the rounds. That's going the rounds over here as well.
And for you, Stephan, can you do anything?
Yeah, it was really weird, because like I had like a kind of really busy agenda, and I knew, okay, this is going to happen and that's going to happen, and I was like in the prep of a movie, like a one-night stand movie. It's like 50 minutes movie, like 10 shooting days. Everything was prepped. We did all the location scouts, we did the recce's, and then just 1 week before the shooting, they pulled the plug out and said, okay, it's not going to happen. And then for like almost 2 months, I was sitting at home, and nowadays it's still like no drama is being made, because then you have to write a movie with actors that are like standing super far from each other, or they are alone, those kind of things. But the normal scenes with just two people walking next to each other, hugging, kissing, those kind of things, it's all not going to happen. So at this moment, I think the whole drama is stopped, and some commercials are going on. But these commercials most of times are for the healthcare or for supermarkets or for like they are already changed to the pandemic, to the corona. They have special rules, so it's very strict on set. You cannot have really big settings. You cannot have a lot of a big crew. It's going to be small. It's more documentary style that you're shooting a commercial. And it's really tough because it takes way more time, because everything needs to be cleaned. You need to wear like the caps, you need to wear gloves. And normally when you shoot handheld, you have, for example, easy rig, the camera's hanging, and your camera assistant is going to pick it. That's not going to happen because he comes too close to you. So you have to put the camera somewhere, you have to walk away, he can pick it. So everything takes way more time, and that's something that everybody sees that's shooting right now, that yes, it's possible, but it's also horrible because it's not how you were used to. You are used to to fight all day long, like bam, 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 with a big tempo, and now it's not happening. So it's kind of a changement. So in that kind of way, yes, it's weird because normally you only sleep like 4, 5, 6 hours a night. Now I can sleep 8 hours a night or 9. That's really amazing. But it's also weird because normally you're under pressure all the time, and in that kind of way, yes, I'm again studying. I'm looking at books. I'm looking at movies. I'm looking at series. Like I'm doing a lot of things that I never had time for in the last few years because I was in this crazy roller coaster, and now it's slowing down. So. And that kind of way, it's also like, time to think about life, like what's really important in life. Because also, like, you see people around you or people that know people that pass away with this crazy illness, and that's horrible to see. And that also makes you think, like, okay, what's really important in life? And I think also that's going to change later on the decisions when someone is calling you for a job, like, are you going to do it or not? I think you slowly decide, like, are going to make changements in your head about things what you will do and not do anymore. So it's not going to be the same anymore as what it was before, and we have to deal with that. I think so. Now it's just waiting till they find a vaccine or something to continue shooting again. Like
hopefully it's not too long.
We're gonna produce our first short film together, and with all this, we don't even know when we're gonna be able to do it. We're gonna shoot in Mexico, but it's crazy. Maybe we're gonna have a year, or we'll see.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
I was in January in Mexico. I really loved it for a shoot.
Oh, really? In what part?
It was like close to Jalisco.
Jalisco?
Yeah.
To Jalisco, yeah. What did you shoot?
It's like it's a commercial for a bikini brand from the Netherlands. It was like with the model Duitse Cruise. And I think the commercial is coming out next week, like on Dutch internet or television, something like that.
Nice.
You can write us the name so we can see it.
Yeah, for sure.
We
can publish it in our page, even like next to you guys' posts.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. The next is also a more personal one for you two guys. Did you always be a cinematographer, Stephan, and Giancarlo a director?
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
If you always wanted to be a cinematographer and a director, or if you were first focused on other roles?
Well, I was inspired. I don't think I wanted to be an actor, but my heroes were Al Pacino and Robert De Niro when I was younger, and the films they made. But I think since I was 15, I kind of knew that would be the only thing I would love to do, and I postponed my college career because I only wanted to enter to film school. So I was my application was declined 2 times, and like everyone was saying, just do another study, just do another course. And I said, no, I want to wait until I get I get the access to the school where my heart is. So it was a long journey.
Now you're here, and you're doing what you love. That's amazing.
Talking to you guys.
It paid off.
Making new friends.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's the best thing about it, man.
It's very inspiring to hear that, because Rodrigo and I are the same. We are studying business, Rodrigo engineering, but we don't love it. We love filmmaking, and we are still finding a way, but in the process.
That's great.
It's a passion. It's an addiction.
Yeah, it's everything, man.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like your girlfriend. You love her, but you also hate her.
It's so time consuming, right? It's everything you have to know, or everything that's interesting, the films, the series, the books about it. It's just
and
amazing.
You cannot turn it off. It's not that you turn it off and
No.
you stop with it. It's
No,
like
yeah.
It's always in your mind.
It's always
exactly.
there.
It's horrible.
It's lovely,
for you,
man.
Stefan?
I love it, but it's hard. It's hard. It's tough love.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I'm like, I finished high school. Then I was too young to go to the film academy. So then I went to the graphic design school, and because I always knew already that I wanted to do something creative. And then at the graphic design school, I was like designing behind a computer. I was doing a traineeship at a graphic design place, and I was sitting behind a computer from 9 till 5, and I went totally mad crazy because yes, I was happy to be creative, but I went crazy to sit behind a desk, like looking at a screen all the time. It's like, okay, this is not for me. I have to be working with something with my hands, to look around, to come on new places and those kind of things. So then I did another traineeship, and it was like at a small production company, and they did a lot of things for television. And then I started as like a kind of PA, and I had to make call sheets and those kind of things. I hated it because it was really not my thing. But that was the basics for me, like that I knew, okay, I really want to continue with this. And I always loved photography. I always loved filming. And then I thought like, okay, let's see if I can make my profession out of it, because it's like kind of a hobby. And now it's my work. And it was also a long way because...
Yeah.
Like Giancarlo, I was not accepted at the film school in the Netherlands the first time that I tried to, and then I decided to go to Belgium. I moved to Brussels, and I did like a photography, film and television academy, and I finished that one, but it was really technical, so I knew everything about TVs, cameras, those kind of things, but I didn't knew really well how to tell a story. And then I started to do like a traineeship at a really amazing television series in the Netherlands. It was like 8 episodes. It was like 85 shooting days, I think. And then I was a video assist, but I was like next to the director, next to the DOP, and I loved it. And I was like, this is amazing. I want to continue with this, but I know that I need to learn better how to tell a story. And that's why I decided, okay, let's try one more time in the Film Academy in Amsterdam. If they don't pick me, then I know I will continue working, and I will start as a camera assistant, and I will grow up. And then they picked me, and then I was like, oh shit, what am I going to do? Am I going to go to school or not? And I remember that all these classmates were so happy that they entered the school. I was like, what do I do? And then on the last day I filled it in the paper. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go back to school, and let's see, I can always quit. But then while I entered the school, I thought like, it's amazing that you are like, for 4 years you can explore, you can try, you can make mistakes. You can do everything you want, and there are no lines of anything, like you can go all the way. And I think that was like an amazing period for me to be at school and to try everything, and to fail and to learn from your failing. So yeah, something like that.
Nice. So that's when you decided to become a cinematographer in film school.
Yeah, like I already knew it before because I really loved images, and I really love photography. And when I went to the film school, I already said, okay, I'm going to be a camera guy. Like I didn't assign for director or editor or any other file, because I knew I wanted to create the images.
Nice.
And that's still nowadays that that's what I just told you. You cannot turn it off, because if you walk outside, like you make a picture of something cool, you say, and I just saw on my iPhone, it has like 85,000 pictures. It's like, fuck me, why do I have so many images? But it's like you only think in images. That's like every time where you look or you enter a building, you think, how would I light this location? Even when you're just on a family party or something, it's crazy. It's like, but it's nice.
I totally get you. The same with just coming up with a story, or how a scene here in this location would look like. It's really cool to be thinking about that all the time. And making that, of course, it's better.
Exactly.
So we come now to the fast questions. So we're coming to the last part of the interview. Thank you guys for staying that long, for staying here with us.
I'm always falling asleep.
Yeah.
So
It's 2 hours, I know, man.
Yes.
So
So,
go fast so you guys can sleep.
what is the most useful tool you took out from film school?
Communication.
Communication, all right?
So we are very
Stephan?
lucky in Amsterdam that our film school where we went to, they allow 6 cinematographers, 6 editors, 6 directors, and you all focus on your own profession. And you have to make short films in each year. So, and you usually you pick out different persons every year. So one time that goes well, and the other time that goes totally, it's a total shitstorm. And you learn how to communicate your idea, how to motivate the people, and communication is everything. I mean, in an interview with Tarantino, he asked Terry Gilliam, like, how I can see a difference between filmmakers that put their vision on the screen and directors that are good but cannot put their vision on the screen. What's your secret? He asked Terry Gilliam, and he says, you have to communicate. If you can communicate very well your idea to sound designer, to screenwriter, to the actor, to everyone, that's your key. And that's when Tarantino said, like, oh, I can communicate because I talk way too much in my life. I can communicate. And then he made the Reservoir Dogs. So I think the job of filmmaking, whether it be cinematographer, that, I mean, there's so many people working under the cinematographer or director or producer. You have to communicate. That's the main thing. People will not only know what to do, but you can give them trust by communicating well.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and it's all about making choices. So just saying I want it to do this way gives people the idea, oh, he knows what he's talking about. So they won't doubt you. They won't gossip. Oh, I don't know that. I think he doesn't know what he's doing, you know?
Right, yeah.
And you, Stefan?
Yeah, I think it's communication, but it's also collaboration. Because if I never went for example, to the film school in Amsterdam, I wouldn't have met Giancarlo in this kind of way, and we wouldn't have been nowadays working together and making this nice project. So it's kind of two things. Like, of course, communication. I also think I got a lot of that in Brussels already, because in Brussels I also had to do editing. I had to do screenplay writing. I had to do sound. So that made it easier for me to communicate with people on the set, because I know what they are talking about because I've done it myself. So I understand really well all the professions on the set, and sometimes I can also help them, or when they say something, okay, I have to arrange this, then I know, okay, it's going to take so much time, and I have more time to light my scene or those kind of things. So I can make different decisions on that. And I think it's like sometimes, yes, I feel more an accountant than a camera guy, because I have to make the floor plans, I have to call to the lighting guy, I have to check the light list, I have to make a camera list, I have to go meet the camera assistant, I have to arrange so many things. And it's like, it's always a relief to be on the set and to make the first shot on the day, because then it's like, bam, now everything comes together. Yeah. Now we're on set, now we're rolling, let's go for it. All the talking, all the meetings from last month, it's done. Now we're going for it, we're creating this image. And that's like an amazing feeling, because like in a commercial, it's just like, okay, you have like one meeting most of the times with the director, you have like 1 or 2 location scouts, you have a general recce with all the crew members, and you have to explain what you want to do, and then you have one shooting day, that's it, and you have a grading day. But if you have a movie or a series, it's going to take ages. It's like 2 months, 3 months, 4 months of preparation, and then you're like, come on, I want to hold the camera, I want to do something. So Yeah,
the payoff must be amazing, though.
Yes, that's really nice.
And the next question, guys, that's more for us, actually. Any advice you would give to emerging filmmakers or cinematographers?
People like us aspiring to be like you.
Yeah. I think follow your heart. So don't be a businessman. Stop with the business school and start making movies, even when they are shit and everybody hates it. But just continue and believe in yourself. I think believing is a very important one. And also, don't be afraid to fail. Like, everybody's failing, and it doesn't matter if you're the biggest company in the world and you're the CEO of it. That person is also going to fail, and he's also having nightmares, and he's also doing bad things or making wrong decisions. Everybody is in the same level, and that kind of, I think, like, yes, you have to believe in yourself and keep fighting for something, and it will pay off in the end.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I think young film students underestimate that they want to be like their peers or their idols, and that's normal. But you only see from the moment they made their great film, but you don't see every shitty movie they made before that. And it's all about sketching. And I mean, storytelling is one of the most difficult things in the world, man. It's like it's theater and painting and photography,
music,
all combined, you know. So it's not weird that it's so difficult. So I would say my main tip would be make movies with your iPhone. No, that's really true, because you can movies. Practice. You can practice scenes, and I mean, maybe you think they won't look good on my iPhone, but imagine if a movie works on your iPhone, then that means you have a really good story, and you have you are honing the crafts really well. So it's not about the technical stuff; it's all about the story. I think we said that 100 million times. Right?
This interview has been amazing. I mean, I've learned the most I've learned in all my years reading books about screenwriting or cinematography or going to classes with some directors. This was the best, really, guys.
No, thanks to you guys, man. We appreciate our work even more.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, no, thank you, guys, and yeah, like it was really fulfilling for us, like Rodrigo said, and yeah, like we like motivation for people who want to do such difficult things is always so important, and coming from you guys, it's a blessing.
Yeah, man.
Well, that's really sweet. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Let's keep in touch.
Yes.
Yeah. For sure, like we'll keep you updated on our projects for sure. What we do,
yes,
even if
great.
we record on our iPhone, we want to hear your opinion.
Of course,
yeah,
of course.
And yeah, like it's amazing, guys. We also want to keep this project going, like the interviews. So if you guys know anybody who would participate, even a makeup artist, a set designer, anyone, that would be really helpful.
Yeah,
but don't worry, guys. Just if you can do it. So it's not an obligation.
Of course.
But yeah,
cool.
Thank you very much, guys, for participating.
Thanks.
All right. Take
Keep
care
in
in Mexico
Thank you, guys.
and Stuttgart.
Thank you, guys. Stay healthy. Be safe.
Yes.
And keep on working, guys. It's amazing what you've been doing.
Thank you.
Keep on doing stuff as amazing as Aries, please.
All right. See you later, alligator.
Bye.
Ciao,
Bye,
ciao.
guys. Thank
See you later, guys.